Really great.
Because the shot glass is solid. You'd be like, oh yeah, how to get in the cup, but like you knew it wasn't in the cup because you just saw the inside of the cup.
That's even better. That's really.
It's like he'll take like and the thing is.
He's here somewhere.
Yeah, there's actually one of the great legends in card magician, Darwin Ortiz, lives around here.
Oh yeah.
Like actually literally within walking distance, which we didn't even know. Like we just the hotel, right?
Okay.
And so he was like, yeah, actually it's like I mean it's up like by Wisconsin or something, so it's like 29th or something. But that's where his apartment is, so it's like, yeah, I could actually walk there. I was like, hey, great. So he's been.
You should walk by and stalk him. Just knock on the door.
I keep telling him I'm like, dude, you gotta you gotta like play poker with some of these guys, or just like show what you can like totally pwn a deck of cards.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he's pretty good. He's one of the top amateur or whatever. Like I mean, he doesn't perform or anything, but it's just one of those on whatever forums or whatever they get together, and we can do amazing things.
I met a guy named Jamie Swiss who does stuff like
Jamie and Swiss.
He's
He did a show for TV. Jamie and Swiss. Yep.
He was stellar with the cards.
Yeah.
I think he kind of teaches other card guys. Okay, so I'm gonna give some stuff away and get going.
All right. I know that one.
You know what? That one works.
I know this one works.
Can you guys hear me okay? We're gonna get started. I'm gonna get some more junk away. Actually, this is not just junk. This is pretty special stuff because we're out of t-shirts. And actually, these aren't Shmoo shirts. Okay, who wants t-shirts? Something clean to wear tomorrow? God, I can't believe how popular t-shirts.
Look how hands go down. Like,
who needs it the most? Yeah. Okay, here's one. There's a large. Who else is large?
Living large.
A large, sorry. I hate to give everything to the front row, but I think I can hit these guys, so I'm gonna. Yeah, all right, good. Okay, this is a total liability. If you haven't seen these, they're super cool giveaways. These are actually little tiny screwdriver multi-tools. I mean, okay, if you're on the phone, you don't win. Try and catch. Oh. I shouldn't throw things in the dark.
You throw it at the camera. You practically knock the camera.
This is why I'm not allowed to throw stuff. Okay, so I just want to say a couple quick things. I honestly don't know. This is Sheeri. She's speaking next. Okay, shut up and listen. Open up. This is great. Our speaker has to tell people to shut up and listen to the introducer. Okay, so.
You don't know who I am yet. It's okay.
I'm totally stoked you guys are here. This is actually something I'm excited to have on the agenda, and I'm going to stay and listen myself because this is a huge problem that we have, right? I mean, databases are behind every app. This is why, databases arguably are to blame in part for why web apps are the low-hanging fruit for security. I just select star, right? And everything dumps in my lap. And so this is a really hard problem to solve. It gets to the core, I think, of why application security is a huge problem. And so I'm hoping that we're going to learn a lot. So anyway, pay attention and yeah.
Stuff.
It's stuff.
It's stuff.
Thank you.
And if you don't pay attention, the video will be.
Thanks so much for coming.
No problem. Yeah. If you don't pay attention, the video will be on the web. You guys, yeah, I'm through the mic. Okay. Super. So why are databases so hard to secure? Now, I have to say that I thought this talk was going to come a little differently to me. I did the whole proposal, and I was kind of like, okay, yeah, this will be great, whatever. And when I was trying to, do some of the technical exploits and the demos and stuff, I realized it was getting way too much into database concepts. And you guys don't want to learn about databases. You want to learn about how to secure databases. So definitely, if you're finding that it's not technical enough for you, I didn't want to go into what SQL injection is, because if you don't know what it is, you can go look it up, and you'll be like, okay, quote, dash dash semicolon, okay, fine, now I know what it is. But what this talk is going to do is going to go into the concepts of this is, there is this thing called SQL injection. You can do this. It's bad, so that you guys can then go and have your have that dimension of your brain it's now there. So it's a little different from probably what you read in the thing, and that's on purpose. because I figured I didn't want to talk like database syntax to y'all. It's too much. So that being said, I'm going to go to the next slide. I want your balls. Okay. I want you to think. You guys are not database experts. Not all of you. Maybe some of you are. However, if I say something and you're like, I don't get it, just like stand up. I'll probably see you. You can throw your balls at me, whatever. But think. Maybe something I say doesn't make sense. And you know what? You might be right. You might be wrong. Doesn't matter, right? Because if you have the question, 20 other people do. Ask for information. I know that, you know, when you're in like a group of like experts, you don't want to be like, so what's this WAP thing? You know, and everyone's looking at you like, dude, you're at a security conference, you don't know what WAP is. Like, you know, this is a database talk. So ask for information. I may say, hey, you know, that's too complicated, I'll get into it later. You know, let's go do lunch tomorrow. You know, look at this website for that information, or, you know, whatever. But ask. And respect me, respect you. I'll start on time, I'll end on time. Respect each other, that kind of thing. That goes with the don't be afraid to ask, because if you all don't respect each other and somebody goes, I get to know what SQL stood for, you know, it's just not going to work. So I don't really need to say this stuff, but I figured that I should. I'm going to end on time, so feel free to email me questions, and I will post them to my blog at sheeri.com, and I'll have that stuff at the end as well. So if you don't get your question answered, I want to answer it. There's just only a limited amount of time. So. My qualifications, for security, I worked at Guardium, which does a database security appliance. So I kind of got into the whole security mindset kind of from there. In May 2001, I was a system administrator, and then starting March 2004, I was a database administrator, and I've been that ever since. I actually have a master's degree in computer science from Brandeis University, where I specialized in databases and blah, 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 blah. So. I am a MySQL DBA. So I have some experience and familiarity with Oracle, with SQL Server, with Postgres, with Sybase, with DB2, but I'm not an expert. So you might ask me a question about Oracle or SQL Server, and I'd be like, I don't know, I'll look it up and whatever. So that is that. Okay, Pythian. So the little logo at the bottom, Pythian Group, that's the company I work for. We do remote database administration. So it's kind of like outsourcing, but for the day-to-day stuff. You know, we can make sure, we can work on projects with you, just like, you know, normal consultants. You might think, oh, hire them, get a consultant. But it's really hard to find a DBA. It's even harder to find a good DBA. So it's what we do. So anyway, so what are Pythian's qualifications with regards to security? We have clients that, you know, are, whether they're media or, you know, government contracts or whatever, you know, Sarbanes-Oxley, we have to be SOX compliant, HIPAA compliant. FDA or AOE, which I actually don't work with that, so I have to go look in my notes to what that means, but somebody knows what it means. It's a compliance thing. I don't think I actually wrote what it meant. All right. Anyway, we also have to do credit cards, and not only do we have to be PCI compliant, but we have to be PCI Gateway compliant. And the EPD, the European Privacy Directive, because the Pythian Group is headquartered in Canada, so they don't just have North American contracts. Some of our customers, Western Union, they deal with financial things a little bit. Palmcoast Data, same thing. And you could check out like the list of customers, you know, Pythian.com, about us, customers.html. I mean, everyone from like MTV and RottenTomatoes.com and whatever. So, you know, everything from, you know, who cares if you lose their password to, holy crap, don't lose that information. All right, enough of this palaver. Let's get the show on the road. Nobody threw any schmooballs at me while I was doing that spiel, so I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Now, you guys already have policies and procedures for operating systems, network, and applications. So one of the things that I'm going to do now in this next section is I'm going to talk about how securing a database is similar and different to what you already know. But start with what you already have. You already have policies and procedures for your network, for your operating systems, for your applications, for maybe your developers and their coding. So how can you apply that stuff to databases? For instance, you know, do you have something where there's an intranet, and to access the intranet, you only have SSL connections? Well, okay, maybe that's something that you want to apply it to the database, where you only connect, you know, the web server will only connect to the database over SSL. Right now, obviously, there's the performance, you know, hit of encryption and whatever. But start with what you already have, because that's, A, that's an easier argument to make, and B, start with what you know, right? The other thing to keep in mind is, with a database, sometimes it's very hard to characterize the content. So sometimes it's hard to tell the malware programs from the good ones. How do you know that you don't have you know, how do you know that like some long-running